Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below.
Am I the idiot for refusing to pay my friend who cared for my boyfriend due to her innocent mistake? Hi guys. Okay, so bit of context I need to add. My boyfriend is currently disabled, he'll recover, but as of right now he's unable to walk and I need to be there to care for him 24/7. I don't mind this at all and we're doing pretty good all things considered. I recently found out I'm pregnant and we decided we can't keep it. I had to get an abortion and obviously that day I wasn't able to care for my boyfriend, so I asked my friend who works as a courier to step in and help for the day, for a generous price of course. She agreed. Before I left, I specifically told her a few things. One of which being under no circumstances can she leave her phone around him, reason being she has one of those flash things on it whenever she gets a notification, and my boyfriend is currently at high risk of getting a seizure, so nothing like that can be around him for the sake of his health. I asked her to disable it, but she said there's no need as it won't even leave her pocket when he's around. I left them to it and went to the clinic. To make a long story short, she forgot her phone, it went off several times and my boyfriend had a seizure. Thankfully he was okay, and he didn't need to go to hospital, but still, I'm furious about this. It was the one thing I asked her not to do and she risked his health because she forgot her stupid phone. I pretty much told her to get out and she left without her money. I was already having an awful day as is and I came back to find paramedics with him, so I was in no mood to debate anything with her. My friend is really apologetic and clearly upset. She's saying it was just an innocent mistake, but I disagree. She didn't mean to, but it was her irresponsibility that caused this and this is supposed to be her job. She's saying she needs the money. I believe her on that as she is really struggling financially, but I just think it's ridiculous to pay her given her innocent mistake. She's been blowing up my phone saying the money I promised her is the difference between her making this month's rent and not etc. I'm not budging, but honestly, I do feel a bit harsh. Don't get me wrong, I'm furious and I don't want to continue my friendship with her, but I can't help but feel like I may be being a tad too harsh here. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She put your boyfriend at risk. I watched my boyfriend suffer a couple of seizures years ago and it scared the hell out of me. And it's not an innocent mistake, it's a life-threatening one. I'd be fuming if I were in your shoes. I hope your boyfriend is doing all right and I'm sorry you both had to go through this. Not the idiot. Seizures are no joke and can cause permanent damage. You'd be well within your rights to literally sue her if any damages were sustained. You're right when you say she was irresponsible, though you may be understating it. Irresponsible is letting a pot boil over for a few seconds, or making your dog hold their bladder a little too long. What she did could have killed your boyfriend. That goes far beyond irresponsible. I say not the idiot. She was negligent in her care, and thus her job. So, I can understand not wanting her around and of course being upset as you had provided clear direction, which she chose to ignore, to your partner's detriment. Of course, understand not paying, but without her there you would not have been able to attend your appointment either. Maybe you could give her a portion of the promised fee? Either way, not the idiot. Am I the idiot for calling the police on a thief, and getting his friend in trouble? Last Friday I was inside my house on a late gaming binge when my house floodlights kicked on. This isn't super uncommon, but I happened to peek out my window and see that my interior car light is on. I ran outside and saw a guy from my neighborhood in my car. He took running and someone ran off behind him. I called the cops and checked my camera to see if I got the guy on camera, and I had. I checked my car and like an idiot I left my Surface Pro in there and they snatched it. The police showed up not long after and I told them what happened, and I showed them the video of what happened. I showed them the house where the guy lives and had to stand back while they woke his parents up. It took a while for them to get a hold of their kid, but he showed up with a broken computer that he claimed to drop. The cops took the guy, and I told his parents I expected them to repair my machine. He's 17, and they walked off upset. The next evening, I got a knock on my door from some people who evidently were from the neighborhood that I just didn't know. They were the second runner's family and were wanting to talk about what happened. Apparently, the other kid was his unknowingly lookout and was arrested earlier the day. I guess the first kid told on him, and he was also arrested. The thing is, his parents were asking me to let it go because with the charge he would lose a major scholarship at some university, and he is claiming he was just walking home with his friend when he told him to just watch out. They said he refused and walked away from my home. I explained to them it wasn't even up to me anymore, and that was up to the state AITA, and I didn't care because he could have alerted someone what his friend was doing, and they deflected saying a kid wouldn't do that in that situation. They got really upset and started calling me a racist because I told them if he was with him, he deserved to be punished too. They said I just wanted to see a black kid suffer and not have his chance at a good life. When they left, I was fuming. I ended up sending the college admissions office an email of what happened with a copy of the police report. Not sure if they'll do anything, but I was livid for their remarks. I'm the victim here. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The kids need to be responsible for their actions, not rewarded with keeping a scholarship. The lookout kid's family is just trying to throw any card at you rather than face the consequences with the powers that be. Everyone is the idiot. I was squarely with you until you decided to go out of your way to alert his college. That was petty, spiteful, and unnecessary. You weren't wrong for filing a police report, but you did decide to make sure he suffered regardless of whether he was charged or not. Bad move. Not the idiot. Committing crimes has consequences. He learned a valuable lesson the hard way. If this is his first offense, I find it very hard to believe they're going to lock him up, but he made that choice. His parents making excuses for him is only going to hurt him in the future. Good on you for standing your ground. Not the idiot. If he didn't want a crime record on his name, he shouldn't get involved in criminal acts. He threw away a good scholarship himself. You didn't ask to be robbed or chosen to. He could have chosen not to do it. The audacity from those people coming at your door asking for a favor when they should be apologizing. Would I be the idiot if I sprayed the neighbor's kid with water? My neighbor's kid is 1.5 years old. We all live on the same property where they rent the upstairs place and we the downstairs. We have separate entrances, and in order to get to ours, you have to climb a few steps to our porch that doesn't have any railings, and the porch is about 2 m off the ground. So, whenever the kid is outside, she eventually comes into our house and starts digging through things and harassing my cat. They don't watch the kid, and often I have to take her outside to go find the mom or the grandfather and take the kid to them. I've asked them to watch that she doesn't come into our house, as it is really not kid friendly, and to let her on our porch as it is really dangerous for her to be there. She almost fell off there the other day, but I was able to grab her arm and kind of swing her back onto the porch. I was so freaked out as I barely caught her, and if she fell off there, she could really have hurt herself badly. I mean, falling onto solid concrete from 2 m high could be fatal to such a small person. Needless to say, I freaked out and went looking for the mom or whoever, found the granddad at the other side of the house. I told him off for not watching her. He just said yeah, that porch is really high, and carried on doing whatever he was doing. Last night I was working and on a call with a client, and in waltzes the kid, making all kinds of noise. I know the granddad knew she was in the house again, as there is a big window and he was standing outside looking at her. I moved over to him to come and get her, and him just freaking stares at me. I had to excuse myself to my client, get up and get the kid that was in our spare bedroom by this time, chasing the cat around and shouting. I went in there, held out my hand to her, she took it, and I lead her outside onto the porch and shut the door, leaving her outside. I went back to my call. There have been more of these instances and I've spoken to them many times now. I can't leave my door shut as it's hot as hell here at the moment. I don't want the kid to get hurt and I don't want to be a default babysitter. Since they have no interest in looking after the kid or teaching her to stay out of the house and off the porch, I feel I want to kind of teach the kid myself. She doesn't speak yet and I don't think she understands when I speak to her. When I got my cat, the neighborhood cats would come into our yard and bully my cat. I would spray them with water from a spray bottle and they would take off running. So, I'm kind of thinking to do the same with the kid. I do know that kids aren't cats, but honestly, I don't know what else to do. So, would I be the idiot? You would be the idiot if you did spray the child, as she doesn't know any better and it could startle her to the point she falls off the steps. Call your landlord, the police, and CPS and let them all know what's happening, how these adults are ignoring this poor child and don't care where she is or who she's with. You would be the idiot. Don't assault a child. Get some evidence, record some conversations, install some cameras or whatever. But get evidence, maybe even start calling the cops on them for a record. Call CPS if you feel it would do good, since it really might. If they're this neglectful that the kid has literally almost died completely unsupervised, then something needs to be done. And God knows how neglectful and idiotic the parents must be in other areas of child care if even watching the kid is too much. Everyone is the idiot. They should be looking after their kid, but spraying a kid with water is fucked up, even more so that it's a toddler. How about just lock your doors and call CPS on behalf of that poor kid? Not the idiot, but spraying a kid won't help and is mean. Could you potentially get a baby gate installed into your door or use a prop that would block access for a child of a small size? Just place even a box and he might not be able to come into your house. Am I the idiot for giving my mother an ultimatum? I, 19F, have stopped talking to my birth giver around 4 to 5 months ago. She was never a good mom or a good person in general. I can't share too much as it goes against the rules, but let's just say that she hurt me so much growing up, and it was more than just yelling at me. After I was 14, I stopped talking to her for 5 years, and for the first time in a while, I felt happy that I was no longer going to feel bad all the time. Around 5 months ago, the California wildfires and COVID-19 were going crazy, and my aunt had convinced me to contact my birth giver. I had said no, and tried to stick to it, but she wouldn't drop it, and it started to really bother me, because, as she put it, if anything happened to your mother, you would regret never speaking to her. Well, I reached out to her and just started to talk. I told her everything. How I felt, what I was hoping to get out of the conversation. She was immediately sarcastic and snippy with me, and assumed I was my dad, trying to hurt her, or that I was anyone but her daughter. She said a lot of hurtful stuff to me and made me feel like all the pain I went through was my own fault. She constantly kept talking about herself, and how it was my dad's fault for all my pain, and she implied that it was my fault too, but then she tried to convince me that none of it was my fault. It confused me so much. I confronted her about all the pain she caused me, and she denied and said some pretty crappy stuff to me that made me cry really hard. Out of sheer anger and hurt, I told her that she stole my childhood, and that all I wanted was a mom, and that she wasn't my mom. She said that she loved me and that she was my mom. She never apologized for anything she said and ignored everything I said, and I lost it. This is where I feel I am a huge idiot. I told her that she needed mental help and that until she fixed herself, I would never be in her life again. She has bipolar disorder and won't take medicine. I told her that she yelled at me, and berated me and hurt me for too long, and that I couldn't do it anymore, and that unless she got help, or started taking her medicine, she would never see me again, or be there for any of my major life milestones. We just fought more, and I blocked her. Soon after I blocked her, she sent her friend after me and made me cry, saying how my birth giver was going to hurt herself and how I needed to stay in contact with her and go to therapy with her. I unblocked my birth giver one last time and called her immature for including a friend. She said I wouldn't see my brother until he is 18, I'll be 30 by that time. And then I blocked her again and cried more. Now, over half my family won't talk to me or my dad anymore. The only ones here for me are my best friend and my dad. This was all months ago and I still feel horrible about it. I blame myself for my family falling apart, and I blame myself for all the pain that has happened to me, again. Reddit, I feel horrible. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your mother is mentally ill, you are right putting up any sort of boundary to protect yourself from her abuse. The people who aren't talking to you are either being manipulated by her, or don't give a damn about you, so you are better off without them in your life. See them not talking to you as a blessing, keeping toxic people out of your life, and I'd further suggest if she tries to use any of them to get at you, to enforce your boundaries and block them too. Honestly it's leaning to not the idiot for me. The reason I said leaning to, is because you got mad at her, even though you did have a point that she needed to fix herself pronto. Her friend though, is a huge idiot. Like I don't see them as truly her friend, because what kind of friend doesn't want to fix someone? Or like to look out for them? Honestly, it's a mess here, and while you should have done things calmer, I do think giving an ultimatum was fine. She needed to understand that you needed space, than threatening to hurt herself just because you needed space. And I can only hope everyone is safe. Not the idiot. What your mom did is classic, actual gaslighting, making you feel crazy, making you blame yourself for her abuse, when none of this is your fault. Cut contact, get therapy, don't look back. I want to reach out and give a virtual hug. In no way are you the idiot. You are 100% not the idiot. You lived your life with an uneducated bipolar person. I am bipolar and I stay on my meds. I figure it would be a cruelty to others to have to deal with me immediately. You were wise to tell her there would be no contact until she has her disease under control. Stay strong. You are doing the right thing.